أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all in today's live session, and in today's session we will be looking at ayah number 71 till 80 inshallah. Our approach will be the same, that we will look at the ayahs first by reciting them, then inshallah with tajweed breakdown, then with the spellings, and final recitation with correction inshallah. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask, and I will try my best to answer them inshallah. So in 1 minute inshallah we will be starting. Okay, so let's start from ayah number 71. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث مسلمة لا شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق مسلمة لا شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون وإذ قتلتم نفسا فادارأتم فيها والله مخرج ما كنتم تكتمون فقلنا اضربوه ببعدها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي مسلمة لا شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون وإذ قتلتم نفسا فادارأتم فيها والله مخرج ما كنتم تكتمون فقلنا اضربوه ببعدها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون ثم قست ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة وإن من الحجارة لما يتفجر منه الأنهار وإن منها لما يشقق فيخرج منه الماء وإن منها لما يهبط من خشية الله وما الله بغافل عما تعملون أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله ثم يحرفونه من بعد ما عقلوه وهم يعلمون وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلا بعضهم إلى بعض قالوا أتحدثونهم بما فتح الله عليكم ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون أولا يعلمون أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون ومنهم أميون لا يعلمون الكتاب إلا أماني وإنهم إلا يظنون فويل للذين يكتبون الكتاب بأيديهم ثم يقولون هذا من عند الله ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فويل لهم مما كتبت أيديهم وويل لهم مما يكسبون وقالوا لن تمسنا النار إلا أياما معدودة وقالوا لن تمسنا النار إلا أياما معدودة قل أتخذتم عند الله عهدا فلن يخلف الله عهده أم تقولون على الله ما لا تعلمون. Now we are heading back to ayah number 71 here, and inshallah we will look at the rules. قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث. قال Qaf is heavy because it's a musta'aliya letter, and if after musta'aliya letter you see any of the after musta'aliya letter if you see alif, then alif will also be heavy because of this musta'aliya letter. Qaf is from the musta'aliya letter, so musta'aliya letters are the letters which we read heavy. Okay, So it's qaf, alif, fatha, qa, lam, fatha, la, qala, qala. And here alif is madda because there is a fatha before it. So we will read it by stretching. Qala, innahu. Hamza, noon kasra, in, noon fatana, inna, ha, inverted dhamma, hu, innahu, innahu, yaqulu, ya fataya, qaf wa dhamma qu, yaqu, lam dhamma lu, yaqulu. Here in this noon we have ghunna, nasalization, and this qaf is heavy, so that's why we are reading it yaqulu, full mouth. يقول إنه يقول إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا Hamza nun kasra in nun fatana inna, so there is nasalization in the noon, so you have to hold the noon sound. Inna ha alifataha innaha qala إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا با فتح با قر فتح ق بقى را فتح را بقرة. Kaf is heavy because it's from the musta'aliya letters. Ra is heavy because there is a fatha on top of it. Baqarah. Ta to the ma with the lam we have to join. Tulla. And here we have idgham, meaning merging but without ghunna. Okay, so after tanween you see this is lam. Lam is from the yarmalun letters. So whenever any yarmalun letter occurs after noon sakin or tanween, you have to do idgham, sometimes with a gunna, sometimes without gunna. So here the condition is we have idgham, merging, but there is no nasalization. So ta, lam, to the ma, tul, baqaratul, lam, alifatha, la, baqaratul, baqaratul. Zal fatha the, lam waw dhamma lu, the lu. Okay, lam to dhamma lu, the lu. So what's the rule here? Lam alifata la, lam alifata la. Before this alif you see there is a fatha which makes this alif madda, and madda letters are such letters like our vertical harkat, we read them by stretching up to one alif. La, like this. Qala innahu yaqulu innaha baqaratullah baqaratullah dhalulun dhalulun. So whenever you're reading zal, your tongue should be controlled in such a way that tip of your tongue should be touching the inner edges of your top two front teeth. So avoid the pronunciation of z, because the moment you say zalulun, so it will replace itself with the za. So it's zal, the sound is suppressed, airflow is not much, and there is no buzzing sound in that. Okay. Baqaratullah zalulun zalulun. Now here I haven't read zalulun lun, because after two after two dhammas you see there is letter ta in the next word. So if this situation occurs, ta is from the ikhfa letters, you have to hide this sound. You have to say dhalulun tathirul dhalulun tathirul dhalulun tuthirul. Ta dhamma tu, tha ya kasra thi, tuthi, ra lam dhamma rul, tuthirul. Hamza ra fata ar, dwat fata da, arda. Now in the word tuthirul arda, this tha is same like dhal, is from the Lisavia family, and it's from the tip of, we read it tusirul, then we will end up saying it seen. This is tha. Tha is from the tip of your tongue when it touches the inner edges of your top two front teeth. So you have to say tuthirul arda. Is heavy here because of having dhamma on top of it. So in under certain condition we read a raw heavy, And this is one of that condition where you have dama on top of ra. Tuthirul arda, and same goes with this ra. It's sakin itself, but there is a fatha before it, which makes this ra heavy as well. So this ra is heavy, this ra is heavy. Tuthirul arda, do, doad fatha, do. Doad is heavy because it's from the heavy letters. Okay, out of 29 Arabic alphabets, we have 7 letters which we read heavy at any cost. So one of them is dod. Okay. تثير الأرض أرض ولا واو فتى لام ألف فتى لا ولا تسقي الحرث تا سين فتى تس قاف لام كسرة قل تسقل. So whatever comes in between, we will drop it. Kaf directly with the lam. This ya we are not reading. This alif we are also not reading. Ta sin fata tas. Qaf lam kasra qil. Tasqil. Ha ra fata har. Tha fata tha. Hartha. This ra is also heavy here. I will come to this point. First let's see. Tasqil. Again, kaf is from the musta'aliya letters, heavy letters, same like dod. So we will make it heavy or full mouth. Tasqil. Hartha. Ha is from the middle of the throat. Ha is from the halkiya letters, the throat letters, and from the throat, it is from the middle of the part, the middle part of the throat. So if you see, our throat is divided into 3 parts: lower, middle, and upper part, on the basis of pronunciation of the letters. So ha is from the middle part of the throat, and its sound is ha. Ha. If you read it ha like the other ha, then the meaning will change here of this word. So we have to be careful when we are saying hartha. If we say taskil hartha, then it will be wrong pronunciation. So in order to pronounce this ha, you have to make your mouth wide open and you have to exhale the air out. Tasqil hartha. Tasqil harth. Because we are pausing here and we can continue reading also, both situations are okay, fine, but better is to pause here so we can start from the next page, next part of it. قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث. قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث. Next is مسلمة لا شية فيها. مسلمة لا شية فيها. قالوا الآن جئت بالحق. مسلمة لا شية فيها. قالوا الآن جئت بالحق. ميم دممو سين لام فتح سل مسل سين لام فتح لا مسلة ميم فتح ما مسلمة طا لام تدمى تل مسلمة تل لام ألف فتح لا مسلمة لا. So here we have idgham again, because after tanween you see letter lam is there. So idgham means to merge, but here the merging will happen without ghunna, without nasalization. So we have 6 letters in after, if you see after tanween or noon sakin, if you see ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon, yarmalun letters, you do merging as well as ghunna, except in lam and ra. Okay, so here will be just merging, there will be no ghunna. You have to say musallamatul. If you say musallamatul, then it will be wrong pronunciation. So in order to pronounce it right, you have to just merge it and carry on reading it. Musallamatullah, like this. Tulla. Sheen kasra shi, ya fata ya. Shi, ya. Shia. Ta fata ta. Shiyata. Fa, ya kasra fi. Ha, alif fata ha. Fiha. Now we have two letters of madda in this word fiha. If we read it fiha, it will be wrong. So whenever we see the madda letters, we read them by stretching up to one alif or two counts. So you have to take one of this, either one alif or two counts. So it's the same thing. Fa ya kasra fi. So whenever you see there is a kasra before ya sakina, then this will make ya madda. Madda letters are such letters which we read by stretching up to one alif. So we have three letters of madda: Vaw madda, ya madda, and alif madda. So here we have two of them, which is ya madda and alif madda. So before ya sakin, you see there is a kasra. So ya is madda here. And before this alif, you see there is a fatha. This makes this alif madda. So it will be fiha, fiha, musallamatul shiyata fiha, qalu, qalul. Qaf alifata qa, lam, lam, dama, lul. Qa, lul. Kaf is heavy here because, again, I will repeat, this is from the letters which are heavy letters, also called musta'aliya letters, which we read them heavy, and these are 7 in number. So qaf is from the heavy letters, we read it heavy, and because of this qaf, if alif occurs after it, it will be heavy as well. So here alif is heavy because of qaf, as well as alif is madda, because same situation is here, that there is a fatha before this alif, which makes it madda. So we will give it a slight stretch up to one alif, lul. Okay, if you read it kalul, it will be wrong. So we don't have to ignore this alif. Qalul ana. Hamza is having vertical fatha. So vertical fathas are also like your madda letters or long vowels, which you read by stretching up to one alif. So wherever you see madda letters or vertical harakat, you have to give it a stretch up to one alif. Qalul ana. Hamza vertical fatha a, nun fatha na, ana. Jim hamza kasra ji, ta fatha ta, jita. So whenever hamza is sakina, okay, or you can say whenever hamza is carrying the sukoon sign on top of it, you give it a sudden pause. Jita, jita. If you read it jita, it will be wrong. So you have to say jita, jita, bil haqq. Ba lam kasra bil, ha qafata haq. And here we can see there is a shadda. It means that qaf is twice. Okay, but we are pausing here, so we will remove the harka from the qaf. Shadda will remain there, okay, unaffected. And here one more very important rule. Till now I was explaining about the qalqala letters. Qalqala letters are such letters which we read by bouncing them, or there is a reflection or echo in the sound when you say that. Okay, so there are 5 letters of qalqala: qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. Their qalqala will be visible when they are sakin, they are silent. Okay, but there are 3 levels of qalqala. There are 3 levels of bouncing or echoing in these letters. So first is, it can be weak, it can be strong, and it can be strongest. So here you have strongest qalqala. Why? Remember that when your word is ending with some of qalqala letters and they are silent, they are just containing sukoon, qalqala will be strong. But if they are containing shadda and you have to pause on it, then the qalqala will be strongest. So right now you can feel that the voice is reflecting quite much when you say bil haqq, bil haqq. So there is a bounce in this letter when you say bil haqq. Qalul ana ji'ta bil haqq. Qalul ana ji'ta bil haqq. Haqq. So this is because qaf is having qalqala, as well as qaf is from the musta'aliya letters, and musta'aliya letters are such letters which we read heavy. Qalul ana ji'ta bil haqq. Musallamatul shiyata fiha. Qalul ana ji'ta bil haqq. Next is فذبحوها. فذبحوها. In this word, you can tell the difference between this ha, which is from the middle of the throat, and this ha, which is from the bottom part of the throat. So when you say فَذَبَحُوهَا, huha, there should be quite difference between them. We can't interchange them, otherwise we will fall into lahne jali. These are such mistakes that are forbidden to make because they can change the meaning of Quranic words. So here you have to read فَذَبَحُوهَا, huha. One ha from the middle of the throat, one from the bottom of the throat, and this one is simple, but this will require effort in order to pronounce it. So simple tip is this: in order to pronounce this ha, you have to make your mouth wide open and you have to exhale the air out. فذبحوها, فذبحوا, ha damahu, fa fatafa, zal fatadha, fadha ba fataba, fadhaba, ha waw damahu, fadhabahu, ha alifataha, fadhabahuha, فذابحوها وما كادوا يفعلون. So here in the word فذابحوها, remember to pronounce the dhal from the tip of the tongue. Never say it fazza. You have to say fadha, the, by suppressing your tongue. Huha, ha wa the mahu, waw is madda, ha alifata ha. Here alif is also madda. فذابحوها, واو فتوا, ميم alifata ma. وما كاف ألف كا دال واو دو كادوا وما كادوا يفعلون. Thanks Nas for liking the style of my teaching. My first preference is to transfer the knowledge as much as I can. I can understand it can be sometimes overwhelming or maybe too much rules, but this is very necessary to break down the rules so people can understand. Even if one of you can understand is better, it will be like my efforts are going in some direction, inshallah. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you can comment below and inshallah I will get back to you. Waw fatawa, mim alifata ma, wama. Kaf alifata ka, wama ka. Dal waw dama du, wama kadu. Now if we read it wama kadu, because most of the time what students do, when they don't see any sign on top of alif, they ignore it. Okay, but you have, before ignoring, you have to see what's before it. If there is a fatha before it, then this alif is madda. We can't ignore it, we have to stretch it. It's like your double vowel. Okay, the sound of ma is ma, you can say, and this alif is adding another a with it, another vowel in it. So it will be wama, like double, how we write double letters in English, like a double ple, apple. So here remember that whenever you see madda letters, it means that your vowels a, e, I, o, u are doubled. Okay, so here you have to say wama kadu, kaf alif fatha ka. Again same situation. Before this alif you have fatha, so this alif is madda here. Dal waw dama du, waw is sakin and you have a fatha before it. Again it's madda here. So again I'm repeating, madda letters are such letters which we read by stretching them up to one alif, because the word mad itself means to stretch. Okay, in order to understand any concept or any Arabic term, you have to see its literal meaning, because its literal meaning is defining itself. So when you say mad, mad means to stretch. So madda letters are giving you this chance to stretch, because other than the madda letters you can't stretch unnecessarily anywhere. So here you have wama kadu, kadu, alif madda, wa madda, kadu, specific pattern is there. Yaf'alun, yaf'alun, ya fa fata yaf, ain fata a, yaf'a, lam wa damalu, yaf'alu and noon sakin. Because we are pausing, whenever you pause you have to drop the harkas from the last letter. Okay, what are the harkas? These signs, your fatha, kasra, dhamma, or which you also call zabar, zir, pesh, these are called harkat in Arabic. Okay, harkat means movement and they give sound to the letters. So here you have to say yaf'alun, so you make noon silent. Now here very one important rule is there. Yes, Naz, I do. I have so many students. So after finishing my classes, I'm trying to come online so I can teach other people as well. So you can contact me. My number is there on my uh, what you call it. If you open my YouTube channel, you will see on the banner I have given my number there to contact. So if you are interested, you can contact me, and inshallah I will speak to you on this subject. Jazakallah. Okay, so where were we? وَمَا كَادُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. So let's understand one very important rule here, which is hidden. So what is the rule here? You see this waw is madda. Okay, madda letters are letters which we read by stretching. Waw is sakin, and before waw sakina, you see there is a dama on the letter. Okay, this makes waw madda. Now, after mother letter, if you are making the last letter silent by yourself, because you have to pause, and here we have done the same thing. In order to pause here, we have made noon silent, and if you do so, you stretch this waw up to 3 alif, which is the best to do that. Okay, so I will explain again. If your second last letter is your madda letter, and on the last letter you are doing a pause, you are stopping, then instead of stretching waw, which is madda letter, up to 1, you can stretch 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif. So in this situation, doing a tul means elongating as much as you can, is the best and more rewardful, mustahab. So what you do, you have to say yaf'alun, yaf'alun, up to 3 count. Hafsa Akhtar, I didn't get you, sister, what you have written. If you can repeat your question again, then I will inshallah answer it. مسلمة شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون. مسلمة شية فيها قالوا الآن جئت بالحق. حق. So you have to bounce this qaf because of qalqala. فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون. If you have any question till here, you can ask. And meanwhile, I will be starting the next ayah. Next ayah is وَإِذْ قَتَلْتُمْ نَفْسًا فَادَّارَأْتُمْ فِيهَا وَاللَّهُ مُخْرِجٌ مَّا كنتم تكتمون. وإذا قتلتم نفسا فادارأتم فيها والله مخرج ما كنتم تكتمون. Okay, now let's see the rules here. Waw fatawa hamza dhal kasra idh. وإذ. Hafsa Akhtar, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Waw fatawa, hamza, dhal kasra, id, wa id. This dhal is from the tip of the tongue. If you say wa is, it will replace itself with the za, and we will fall into lahani jali, the clear mistakes, which can change the meaning of Quranic words. So let me give you example. What are the lahni jali? What are the clear mistakes? For example, everybody is familiar with the word qul, because we have surahs with qul huwallahu ahad, or qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, qul ya ayyuhal kafirun. So if you read the qaf light, if you say, instead of saying qul, if you say kul, the meaning will change, because we have two types of kaf in Arabic. One is this heavy one, and one is the other one which is light. So the meaning will change from to say to eat, because this with the heavy kaf, the meaning of the word qul is to say, he Allah is the one. Okay, so if you say kul with the light kaf, the meaning will be to eat, he Allah is the one. So can you see the sensitivity of matter here? If we don't know the tajweed rules, we end up reading them wrong and we end up making the mistakes. So here we have to say wa id. Your airflow shouldn't be coming out from your mouth. Your tongue should be touching the inner edges of your top two front teeth. Wa id, little bit will be out. If you say wa is, it will be wrong pronunciation. Next word is qataltum. Qataltum. Again, we have qaf, and this qaf is from the heavy letters, so it's quite heavy, or a full mouth letters. So try to pronounce it heavy as much as you can, okay, as if your mouth is full and you're trying to speak. Okay, so qataltum, qaf fataqa, ta lam fatatal, qatal, ta mim dama tum, qataltum. Next word is nafsan. Now, why I have read it like this? Because I have to hide this sound of nafsan. The moment I say nafsan, it will be wrong. You have to say nafsan. So you have to do ikhfa here. What is ikhfa? The word ikhfa means to hide. Okay, what to hide? To hide the sound of tanween. These your two harkat, two fathas, two kasras, two damas, these are called tanween. Okay, so after noon sakin or tanween, if you see letter fa, okay, or other 14 are there, total we have 15 ikhfa letters. So if you see any of the ikhfa letters after the tanween or noon sakin, so you will hide the sound. Instead of saying nafsan, you have to say nafsan. And while hiding, your tongue shouldn't be touching anywhere in your mouth, because the moment you touch your tongue with your upper palate, you will end up doing ghunna. We don't want ghunna here. We want ikhfa. Ikhfa means hiding. So you have to say nafsan fadara'tum. Nafsan fadara'tum. So let's see the rules here. So here we have ikhfa. We are hiding this sound and a little bit elongating it. Nafsan, like this. Fadara'tum. Fa, dal, fatha, fad, dal, vertical fatha, da. Fadda. Ra, hamza, fatha, ra. Ra is heavy because there is a fatha on top of it. We will give sudden pause to this hamza because of the sukoon on top. So whenever you see there is a sukoon sign on top of hamza, you give it a sudden pause. Fadda ra'tum, ra'tum, ra'tum. وَإِذْ قَتَلْتُمْ نَفْسًا فَادَّارَأْتُمْ فَادَّارَأْتُمْ. Stretch the dal because of the vertical fatha. Ra is heavy and hamza is having a sudden pause. Ra'tum. If I say فَادَّارَأْتُمْ رَأْتُمْ, then it will be wrong. فَادَّارَأْتُمْ وَإِذْ قَتَلْتُمْ نَفْسًا فَادَّارَأْتُمْ فِيهَا. Fa, ya kasra, fi, ha, alif, fataha. In this word again, because it's the same word like this in the first line, ya is madda, alif is madda. Okay. Fiha, fiha, wa idh qataltum nafsan faddara'tum fiha. Wallahu, wallahu. So you have to say this lam in the word Allah heavy if you see there is a fatha before it. If there is a dhamma before it, again you will make it heavy. And if you see kasra before this lam in the word Allah, you will make it light. So here we have lam heavy because there is a fatha before it. And I want to mention here that this rule for the lam of making it heavy or light is just confined to the word Allah. If you see the lam anywhere else other than the word Allah, you will not make it heavy ever. So this rule is specifically for the word Allah. Okay, this lam we are looking at. So before the letter lam in the word Allah, if you have fatha, you will make it heavy. If you have dhamma, you will make it heavy. But if you have kasra, you will make it light. So in this case, lam is heavy. Waw, lam fatha, wal, lam vertical fatha, la. Wallah, ha dhamma, hu. Wallahu, wallahu. The next word is mukhrijumma. Mukhrijumma. Sorry about that. Mim, kha, dhamma, mukh. Kha is heavy. Ra kasra ri, mukhri. Jim, mim to dama, jum, mim alifat. Mukhrijum, mukhrijum. So here is idgham again, because after the tanween of dama, you see there is letter mim. Okay, so mim is from the yarmalun letters, and if we see any yarmalun letters after nun sakin or tanween, we do the merging as well as nasalization. So this process of merging plus nasalization is called idgham with ghunna, because the literal meaning of the word idgham is to merge. Okay, to merge the sounds. Mukhrijum, kha is heavy. Mukhrijum, ma, alif is madda, so we will give it a certain stretch. Wallahu mukhrijum ma kuntum, kuntum. Kaf nun dama kun, ta mim dama tum, kuntum. Ta kafata tak, ta dama tu, taktu, mim wa dama mu, and nun sakin. Taktumun. Ma kuntum. Now here is again we have ikhfa, same like here. So the rules of the noon sakin or tanween are the same. So if you see noon sakin and you see ikhfa letter after that, you will hide the noon sakin sound. Same goes with the tanween, because tanween sounds like noon sakina. That's why their rules are common. So here you will do ikhfa, meaning hiding. You never say kuntum. You have to hide the sound and you have to say kuntum taktumun. Second last letter is your madda letter, and last letter you're making silent by yourself. It's not silent here, but we are making it. So we will apply the rule of madde arid lissakun. This is a temporary stretch because we are pausing. So we, instead of stretching it up to one alif, it's better that we stretch it up to three. So you have choice here. You can stretch up to 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif, but the best is to elongate is up to 3 alif. So it will be taqtumun wa idh qataltum nafsan faddara'tum fiha wallahu mukhrijum ma kuntum taqtumun wa idh qataltum نفسا فادارأتم فيها والله مخرج ما كنتم تكتمون. Let's see the next ayah. فقلنا اضربوه فقلنا اضربوه ببعدها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون. فقلنا اضربوه ببعدها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون. So in the word فقل نضربوه, let's see what are the rules. Fa fatafa, qaf lam dama qul, faqul. So this qaf is heavy as it's from the heavy letters. Noon is connected with the next duad. Noon, duad fatah, nad. Faqul, nad. So whatever is there in between, we will drop. We will directly join the one having fatah with the one sakina. Faqul, nad. Ra kasra ri, nadri, ba wa dama bu, ha dama hu. فَقُلْ نَدْرِبُوهُ. In the word boo, wow is madda, because itself is sakina and there is a dama before it. So you have to stretch it up to one alif. فَقُلْ نَدْرِبُوهُ بِبَعْدِهَا بِبَعْدِهَا. Ba kasra bi, ba'in fatah ba, biba' duat kasra di, biba'di, ha alif fatah ha, biba'diha. Ain is from the middle of the throat. Try pronouncing it from exactly from the middle of the throat, because if you say biba diha, then it will replace itself with hamza. Okay, so it will be a mistake here. You have to say biba'diha, biba'diha. Dawad is heavy, and here alif is madda, because before this alif you can see there is a fatha. ببعدها فقلنا اضربوه ببعدها كذلك كافتك ذال vertical فتح ذا كذا لام كسر لي كافتك كذلك يدم يح. Now this ha is from the middle of the throat, so try to pronounce it from exactly the middle of the throat, okay, by opening your mouth wide and exhaling the air out. So it's yuh, yuh, yillahul. This is simple one. So this is from the bottom of your throat. This is from the middle of the throat. So we have two has. Never interchange them, otherwise we will end up changing the meaning of Quranic words. Ya hadama, yuh, ya lam kasra yil, yuh yil, lam vertical fatha la, yuh yilla. So what is the rule here? Whenever you see before the letter lam in the word Allah, if there is a kasra, you will make it light. But in this condition, there was a fatha, so we made it heavy. This was wallah, and this is yilla, very light. Ha lam damahul, mim wa fatha maw, hul maw, ta vertical fatha ta, hul mawta, hul mawta. So when we say the word maw, we see that before waw sakin you have fatha. So this makes this wow lean. Lean letters are such letters which we read gentle, without stretching, without suddenly pausing them, and like in the quick like reading, like this. يحيي الله الموتى موتى تا. Now ta is having vertical fatha, so we will read by stretching it up to one alif. Vertical fathas and the madda letters, we read them exactly same by stretching them up to one alif. And this ya is extra here, so we will not consider it. يحيي الله الموتى. This sign is telling you that you have to continue reading. So when we are reading in continuation, it will be كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم. So you can't pause between these two because sentence is keep on going. If you pause here, then it can change also the meaning, because these signs of the pauses are like your punctuations in English, like a comma, full stop. Okay, so you have to be very careful with these. Wa yurikum, wa fatawa ya damayu, wa yu ra ya kasrari, wa yuri kaf mim damakum, wa yurikum. Hamza vertical fatha ya vertical fatha ya aya. Ta kasrati ha vertical kasra hi ayatihi ayatihi ayatihi. يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون. Lam fatha la, ain from the middle of the throat. La'al, ain lam fatha al, lam fatha la. So shadda ones are the doubling ones. So what we do, we read them with the letter which is before it and then with its own self. So here lam fatha la, ain lam fatha al, lam fatha la, la'alla. Kaf mim damakum, la'allakum. Ta ain fatha ta. Ain is from the middle of the throat. Sometimes what we do, in order to pronounce it from the middle of the throat, some students, they are pausing it, or they are giving it a sudden like a pause, like a ta. It will be wrong. So try saying it very simple. Ta'kilun, ta'kilun. Qaf kasraqi, because kaf is heavy. Lam waw the malu, waw is madda. And noon we are making sakina because we are pausing here. Okay, it's like a full stop. Ayah is completed. So instead of taqilun, we'll say taqilun by stretching this waw up to 3 alif instead of 1, and by applying the rule of madde arid listakun, which is the stretch in order to pause. So if you see your second last letters are your madda letters and you have to pause after that, then instead of stretching up to 1, it's best to stretch up to 3 alif. And if you are doing, for example, in this ayah was the same rule. If you're stretching here up to 3, you have to do here the same. If you're doing here 1, you have to do 1 here. If you're doing here 2.5, you have to do 2.5. So you have to keep the amount of stretching same for all of these, because almost all ayahs are ending with madde arid lisakun, because second last letter is your madda letter. So you have to say taqilun. ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي. So here, let's see the rules. ثم, whenever you see the shadda on top of meme, always read it by nasalization, by doing a nasalization in this sound. So this nasalization is because of the meme. So what's the rule here? If you open this shadda, you will see there are two meme. One meme is sakin and the other one is carrying this fatha on top. So if you see that after meme sakin another meme is there, then you have to do the ghunna. This ghunna is for the meme. So you have to say thumma, thumma, thumma. So you have to do ghunna here. Sa is from the tip of the tongue. Never read it summa. This is thumma. You have to suppress the seen sound. Qarsat. Qafata qa, seen, tafata sat. Qarsat. Qaf is heavy. Thumma qarsat. Qulubukum. Qaf damaku, lam wa damalu. Qulu ba damabu. Qulubu. Kaf mim dama. Qulubukum. Kum. Here again we are doing nasalization in the meme sound. Meme, meme kasra, mim. So here this is the rule called iqlab. I will come to it. Let me explain this one first. So here you have idgham for the meme sakin, because we are not reading this meme, we are reading this meme. Why? So let me explain what's here. If your letter A, call it these are three letters A, B, C. Okay, if your letter A is having any haraka like a fatha, kasra, dhamma, letter B is your silent letter like having sukoon on top of it, and letter C is having shadda. Okay, I'm repeating again. If you have three letters in a row, letter A, B, C, letter A is having the haraka like a fatha, dhamma, kasra. Letter B is your silent letter having sukoon, and letter C is having shadda. So you will drop the letter B. Okay, what you will read here, you will join A with the C by dropping the letter B. So because if you open this letter having shadda, you will see there are two meme. One meme is sakina, which is inbuilt. Okay, we didn't make it, it was already present there. And second meme is having kasra. So if you also join this, then it will be meme sakin, meme kasra. So it will be impossible to read them together. Okay, so what you will do here, qulubukum. So this meme we will drop, kaf, meme damakum, meme kasra mi. So here this again meme is connected with the next meme. So after meme sakin, if you see another meme or simple, if you see the shadda on top of meme, you will do nasalization or ghunna in the sound of meme. So here you have to say qulubukum, kum. Then again mim ba'di. After noon sakin, if you see there is letter ba, it will be iqlab. Iqlab means changing the sound. So here instead of saying min, I will say mim ba'di, mim ba'di. Okay, we ignore this noon, but we replace it with the mim by doing gunna. Qulubukum min ba'di dhalika. Ba ain fatha, ba dal kasra di, ba'di, dal vertical fatha, dha. لام كسرة لي ذلك فتك ذلك فا فتح فا ها كسرة هي فهي يا فتيا فهي ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ثم hold this sound ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي ذلك. Zal is stretched because it's having a vertical fatha. Dhalika, dhalika. If you say dhalika, it will be wrong. Dhalika. Thumma qasat qulubukum min ba'di dhalika fahiya. Next is qal hijarati. So let's see here. Kaf lam fatha kal, ha kasra hi. Kal hi, jim alif fatha ja. Kal hija, ra fatha ra, ta kasra ti. Kal hijarati. This ha is from the middle of the throat. Jim alif fatha ja. Ja, hija. Because alif is madda. So whenever you see there is a fatha sign before alif, then this alif is madda. And we read the madda letters by stretching them up to one alif. So if you say kal hija, it will be wrong. You have to say kal hijarati. Rati. Ra is heavy because of having fatha on the top. Ta kasra ti. Kal hijarati. Aw ashaddu. Aw ashaddu. Ashaddu. Hamza fatha a. Sheen dal fatha shad. Dal dama du. Ashaddu. Aw ashaddu. Why I have said Hamza? Because whenever you see any sign on top of alif, this makes it Hamza. This is acting like a Hamza because its rules are like with the Hamza now. By looks, it's alif. By rules, it's Hamza now. Hamza fatha. Hamza waw fatha aw. Waw is lean, so you have to read it gentle. Aw. Hamza fatha a. Sheen dal fatha shad. Ashad dal damadu. Aw ashaddu. Qaswah. Qaf sin fatha qas. Qaf is heavy. Waw fatha wa. And if you see that you have to pause and your last letter is ta marbuta. This ta is called ta marbuta, which is a combination of the other ta and ha. So you will drop the harkas and the dots, you will make it ha. Simple ha, which is pronounced from the lower part of the throat. Kal hijarati aw ashaddu kaswah. Kaswah. Wa inna. Wa inna. You will hold the noon sound because there is a ghunna or nasalization in this noon. So whenever you see there is a shadda sign on top of noon, you will do nasalization. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ. ميم كسرة مي نون لام فتى نل من الح كسرة حي من الحي جيم ألف فتى جا من الحجا را فتى را تا كسرة تي من الحجارة حجارة. So ha is again from the middle of the throat as it's from the halqiya letters. Jim alif fatha ja. Again before alif you see there is a fatha. This makes this alif madda. Ra is heavy. So we read ta marbuta same like the ordinary ta, the dotted one. Okay, simple. Lama. Lam fatha la. Mim alif fatha ma. Lama. Ya fatha ya. Ta fatha ta. Yata. Fa jim fatha faj. Yata faj. Jim fatha ja. Yata fajja. Ra dama ru. Yata fajjaru. Yata fajjaru. Now here we said yata fajjaru. Jim is twice, ra is heavy because of having the on top. Minhu, mim nun kasra min ha damahu. Minhu. And this ha is now connected with the next lam. So ha lam damahul. Minhul. Hamza nun fatha an ha vertical fatha ha an ha and then ra sakin because we have to pause here. So this ra is heavy because of having dama, but when we paused it and you see the vertical fatha is there before it, still we will make it heavy. Minhul anhar. Wa inna. Wa fatha wa. Hamza nun kasra in nun fatha na. Wa inna. Mim nun kasra min ha alif fatha ha minha. Lam fatha la mim alif fatha ma lama. Ya sheen fatha yash. Sheen ka fatha shaq. Ka fatha qa. Yash shaq. So whenever you see the shadda, emphasize on the letter in order to pronounce it twice. If you say yashakaku, it will be pronounced once. So in order to pronounce the letter twice, emphasize on the letter. Yashakaku. Yashakaku. Ya sheen fatha yash. Sheen ka fatha shaq. Yashaq ka fatha qa. Yashaqqa qaf damaqu. Yashaqaqu. 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 Lama yashaqaqu. This kaf is heavy because this is from the muta'aliya letters. Fa fatha fa, ya kha fatha yakh. ra dama ru, fayakhru, jim dama ju, fayakhruju, fayakhruju, mim nun kasra min, ha lam dama hul, min hul, mim alif fatha ma, and hamza we have to make it sakin. So let me explain the rule here. First let me read it one more time, then I will break down this rule. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَشَّقَّقُ فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءُ. So you see that alif is madda here because there is a fatha before it, and soon after the madda letter you see the hamza in the same word because this is one word, ma. So what you do, you apply the rule of madde muttasil here. Okay, madde muttasil is the stretch which we have to make it up to 2.5 alif. Okay, so you have to say ma. So here you will give it a sudden pause in order to pronounce hamza sakina. Minhul ma, ma. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَشَّقَّقُ فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَهْبِطُ مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. Waw fatha wa, hamza nun kasra in, wa in nun fatana, wa inna, mim nun kasra min, ha alif fatha ha, minha, wa inna minha, lama lam fatha la, mim alif fatha ma, lama, ya ha fatha yah, ba kasra bi, yah bi, ta dama tu, yahbitu, ta is heavy, yahbitu, mim nun kasra min, kha shin fatha khash, min khash ya fatha ya, khashya, ta lam kasratil, lam vertical fatha la, tilla and ha sakin. So here before the letter lam in the word Allah you have kasra, it will be light. Wa inna minha lama yahbitu min khashyatillah wa mallahu, waw fatha wa, mim lam fatha mal, wa mal lam vertical fatha la, wa mallah hadamahu, wa mallahu, ba kasra bi, ghain alif fatha gha, bi gha, fa kasra fi, bi gha fi, lam to kasra lin, bi ghafilin. Now in the word Allah there is letter lam, and before this lam if you see it's a fatha, then you will make it heavy, wa mallahu, wa mallahu. Okay, if you say wa mallahu it will be wrong. You have to make this lam in the word Allah heavy if you see there is a fatha before it. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ, ghain is heavy. Because of this ghain, alif is also heavy. بِغَافِلٍ amma, amma, ain mim madda am, mim alif ma. So there is a nasalization plus alif is madda. Amma ta'malun, ta'malun. Again we will apply the rule of madda arid lit sakun here, and we will stretch up to 3 alif. Now next is أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله ثم يحرفونه من. So let's see the rules here. Hamza fatha a, fa fatha fa, afa, ta fatha tat. This ta is heavy. Okay, afatat. Although these both tas they belong from the same family, but one is light, one is heavy. It's afatat. Mim fatha ma, ain waw ma'u, afatat ma'u, nun fatha na, afatat ma'una, afatat ma'una. Hamza ya fatha ay, ya wa ya hamza dama yu, ay yu. So what's the rule here? After noon sakin, if you see ya is from the yarmalun letters, so you will do the merging, which is called idgham, as well as nasalization. So this merging plus ghunna is called idgham here, idgham with ghunna. So you have to say an yu'minu, yu'minu, afatatma'una, an yu'minu, yu'minu. And when you see that there is a sukoon sign on top of Hamza, you give it a sudden pause. Yu'minu, yu'minu. If I say ay yu'minu, it will be wrong. So I have to give this Hamza a sudden pause. This waw is not having any function here, it's just carrying the Hamza, because you can't write the Hamza directly here. So most of the time you will see either ya or waw are carrying the Hamza. Okay. Ay yu'minu, yu'minu, mim kasra mi, noon waw dama nu. Waw is madda here because it's itself is sakin and there is a dama before it. An yu'minu lakum, lakum, waqad, waqad. So lam fata la, kaf mim dama kum, lakum, waw fata wa, qaf dal fata qad. Kaf is heavy as it's from the heavy letters, musta'aliya letters, and dal is sakin. Dal is from the qalqala letters. What is qalqala? The word qalqala means the movement. So there will be a movement in the makhraj or the exit point of the letters when you read such letters when they are sakin. Okay, qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. These are qalqala letters, and qalqala will be strong here because the word is ending on the qalqala letter and it itself is a sakin. So you have to say waqad, waqad. أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد. So there is a bounce or reflection in the sound. قاف ألف فتكا نون فتنا كان فا فتفا رايا كسرري فري قاف ميم تودما قم كان فريق. This ya is madda, that's why we have read it by stretching. Fariqum. If you say fariqum, it will be wrong. Fariqum, kum. And you have to hold this meme sound in order to pronounce the gunna here. وقد كان فريق منهم كسر من ها ميم دمهم كان فريق منهم يسمعون يا سين فتا يس ميم فتا ما يسمع عين واو دمعو. عين is from the middle of the throat. نون فتنا يسمعون. كاف فتكا لام فتح لا قلا. ميم لام فتح مل لام vertical فتح لا مالله. Now again the same rule we will apply here on the letter lam in the word Allah, because there is a fatha before it, so we will make it heavy. قلم الله قلم الله ثم قلم الله ثم. So you will do the gunna in the meme sound. يحرفونه يا دبيو ha ra fatah ra kasrari yuharri. Ra is twice, so you have to emphasize while reading the shadda ones. Yuharri. Fa waw fu nun fatana yuharrifuna. Ha inverted dama hu yuharrifunahu mim ba'di. So this is iklab. Iklab mean replacing the sound of noon sakin or tanween with the meme. Okay, by doing the gunna. Why we do so? Because if you see the letter ba after noon sakin or tanween, you don't read the noon sakin or tanween sound. So you say mim instead of min. You say mim ba'di. Next word is ba'di ma aqaluhu. Ba'di ma aqaluhu wahum ya'lamun. So let's see the rules in this ayah. با عين فتى باع دال كسرة دي بعدي ميم ألف فتى ما بعدي ما عين فتى ع كاف فتى قا أقا لام ودملو أقلو هذا ما هو أقلوه. عين is from the middle of the throat, قاف is heavy, and waw is madda here, that's why we are stretching. بعدي ما أقلوه وهم يعلمون. واو فتى وا ها ميم دمهم وهم يا عين فتى يع لام فتى لا يعلى ميم واو دممو النون ساكن يعلمون. بعد ما أقلوه وهم يعلمون. Next is وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا وَإِذَا خَلَا بَعْضُهُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ قَالُوا أَتُحَدِّثُونَهُم بِمَا فَتَحَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمْ ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون. So let's see the rules from here onward. Waw fatha wa, hamza kasra I, wa I, dal fatha, dal alif fatha, da, wa idha. So this alif is madda. We read by stretching it. Laqul ladina, lam fatha la, qaf lam damakul, laqul lam fatha la, laqul la. Zal ya kasra dhi, nun fatha na, la. Laqul ladina, dhina. Ya is madda. Hamza vertical fatha a, mim fatha ma, ma. نون وضمنوا آمنوا قاف لفتقى لام وضملوا قالوا. After madda letter you have hamza in the next word, so here will be madde munfasil, so amount of stretching will be 2.5 alif. قالوا آمنا. Whenever you see shadda sign on top of noon, you have to do the gunna, meaning nasalization here. قالوا آمنا وَإِذَا خَلَا بَعْضُهُمْ واو فتى وا همزة كسرة إي وإي ذال ألف ذا وإذا خا فتى خا لام ألف لا خلا. Kha is from the upper part of your throat, it's from the halkia letters and it's heavy as well, so you have to say khala khala khala. وَإِذَا خَلَا بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضُهُمْ با عين فتى بعد ودمدو بعدو ha mim damahum ba'duhum. Dod is from the musta'aliya letters, the letters which we read heavy under any condition. So these are the 7 letters. Kha, Dod, Qaf, all these are from the musta'aliya letters. Kha, Swad, Dod, Ta, Dha, Ghain and Qaf. These 7 are the musta'aliya letters. So we have to read it heavy. Khala, ba'duhum, ba'duhum. Ain is from the middle of the throat. Ila, Hamza kasra I, Lam vertical fatha la, ila, and this ya we will ignore because there is no sign on top of it. So here we will just exclude in the reading. Ila ba'din qalu, ba ain fatha ba, dad to kasra, din ba'din. Now if we read it ba'din, it will be wrong because after the tanween you see there is letter qaf. Qaf is from the ikhfa letters. So if you see after noon sakin or tanween, any of 15 ikhfa letter, any of these, so you hide the sound of such tanween or noon sakin. If I read ba'din, it will be wrong. The correct pronunciation is ba'din qalu, ba'din qalu, ba'din qalu. So you have to do ikhfa here. Ikhfa is different than ghunna. Always remember, while doing ikhfa, never touch your tongue with the upper palate. Okay, let the tongue be suspended in the air. بعدين قالوا كاف ألف qa lam بعد malu قالوا. Waw is madda here because waw itself is sakin and there is a dhamma before it. And after madda letter, if you see hamza in the next word, so here will be madde munfasil. So the amount of stretching will be 2.5 alif. So you have to stretch it up to 2.5 alif. قالوا أتحدثونهم. همزة فتاة دادماتو أتو حا دال فتحت دال كسر دي حدي ثا ودمثو نون فتنا أتحدثون ha mim damahum. After mim sakin, if you see letter ba, so you have to do the nasalization or gunna in that mim. أتحدثونهم بما فتح الله. Now this ha is from the middle of the throat because this is from the halkiya letters, and in order to pronounce it you have to open your mouth wide and try to exhale the air out. Fatahallahu, fatahallahu. And before the letter lam in the word Allah, if you see fatha, you will make it heavy. So this word Allahu, we read it very heavy here. Fatahallahu, Fatahallahu alaykum, alaykum, ayn fata'a. Ayn is also from the middle of the throat like ha. Lam ya fatha lay. Ya is lean because before ya sakin, if you see fatha, this make it lean. Lean means to read gentle. So these letters are such letters which we read without stretching them and very gentle, like alaykum, alaykum. Fatahallahu alaykum liyuhajjukum. Very important rule is there, or the rule of mad. Okay, this is madde lazim here. So let's see what is the rule. Lam kasra li, ya daman you, li you, ha alif and jim. First we read together, then jim with the waw we will read, because jim is twice. Okay, so you have to say ha, alif and jim. Now we can say that after madda letter we don't have hamza here. Then why we are doing the mad? Why we are applying the mad rule? So always remember that here you don't have mad, sorry, you don't have hamza after the madda letter, but you have shadda here. Okay, so it's a sukun asli. It's a hidden sukun, inbuilt sukun, which is present on jim. If you open the shadda, there will be two jim. One jim will be having sukun, other will have this dama which is on the top. Okay, so here you will apply the rule and you will stretch it up to 3 alif. ليحاجوكم ليحاجوكم. And in the word kum, again we have done the nasalization for meme, because after meme sakin you see there is letter ba. So if you see this situation, you will do the gunna in the meme sound. So there are two types of the gunna in meme. One is because after meme sakin you see another meme, or if you see after meme sakin letter ba. Okay, in both situations you will do the gunna in the meme sound. If you see any other letter than meme or ba, you will never do nasalization in meme. Okay, so for the meme here we have done the same. After meme sakin you have letter ba, so do the nasalization or gunna in the meme sound. ليحاجوكم به كم به كم به عند ربكم. Ba kasra bi, ha vertical kasra hi, bihi, ain nun kasra ion, dal fatha da, ion da. After nun sakin you see there is letter dal which is from the ikhfa letters, so you will hide this nun sound. Ion da, rabbikum. Ra is heavy because it's having fatha. Ra ba fatha kasra bi, rabbi kaf mim damakum, rabbikum. ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون. همزة فتاة، فا فتفا، أفا لام ألف لا، أفلا تا عين فتتا، قاف كسرة كي، تعقي لام ودملو نون ساكن، تعقلون تعقلون. وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلا بعدهم إلى بعد قالوا أتحدثونهم بما فتح الله عليكم ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون. Now let's see the next ayah. أولا يعلمون أولا يعلمون أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. أولا يعلمون. So Hamza fata'a wa fatawa awa lam alif fatala awala. We call alif as a Hamza when there is any sign on top of it. Awala ya'lamuna, ya fataya lam fatala ya'la mim wa damamu nun fatana ya'lamuna. So here before alif you see fatha which makes alif madda, Before waw sakin, you see dama, which makes waw madda. Madda letters are such letters which we read by stretching them up to one alif. Awala ya'lamuna ya'lamuna anna Allah anna. So whenever you see the shadda sign on top of noon, you will do the nasalization here. Okay. Ghunna. Annallaha. Annallaha. And before the letter lam in the word Allah, if you see fatha, you will make it heavy. Annallaha. Hamza, nun fatha, nun fatha, na. Anna. Noon is connected with this lam now again. Hamza, nun fatha, nun lam fatha, nal. Annal. Lam, vertical fatha, la. Annallah. Nallah. Ha fatha, ha. Annallah. Ya ain fatha ya, lam fatha la. Ya'la, mim damamu. Ya'lamu. This ain is from the middle of the throat. Okay, this is from the halkiya letters. Halkiya letters are such letters which we read by using our throat. So if you say ya'lamu, it will be wrong because it will replace itself with a hamza. So you have to say ain here, which is a bit squeezing sound and it's from the middle of the throat. So try to say ya'lamu, ya'lamu, ya'lamu. أولا يعلمون أن الله يعلم. Mim alifatama. Again the same pattern is repeating here, that you have alif and before alif you see there is a fatha. So you make it madda by stretching it. Ma yusirruna. Ya dama you. Sin ra kasra sir. Ra waw dama ru. Yusirru. So if there is a dama on ra, ra is heavy. Yusirruna. Waw is madda because before waw sakin you have dama. Ma yusirruna. Wa ma yu'linun. Waw fata wa, mim alif fata ma, wa ma. Ya عندما يو لام كسره لي يعلي نون واو دما نو and نون ساكن يعلنون. So here second last letter is your mother letter and you're making the last letter silent by yourself. It was not silent, it's not silent here. We are making it silent because ayah is completing. So if you do so, you have to apply the rule of madde arid lissakun, which is temporary stretch. So you have an option here to stretch this new sound up to 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif. So the best is to stretch it up to 3 alif. Yu'linun. Okay, same rule was there in the ayah 76. Taqilun. Ayah 75. Ya'lamun. So if you are stretching at the end of every ayah, for example 1, then you have to keep the amount same for all endings. But if you're stretching up to 3, then you have to keep again amount of the stretching same for all of these. So you have to read here ma yusirruna wa ma yu'linun awala ya'lamuna anna Allah ya'lamu ما يسرون وما يعلنون فتح الله عليكم ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون أولا يعلمون أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. واو فتوى ميم نون كسرة من ومن ها ميم دما هم ومنهم همزة ميم دما ميم يا كسرة مي أمي يا واو دما يو أمي نون فتنا أميون 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 ومنهم ummiyuna. So here meme is connected with this hamza, then again next with this ya, but itself it's having shadda, so there is a gunna in the meme sound. Ummiyuna, yuna. I have stretched the waw sound here because waw is madda. We read madda letters by stretching up to one alif. So here there is a specific condition for it to be madda, which is it needs to be sakin and there should be a dhamma before it. So we have waw sakin and there is a dhamma before it, which is meeting the criteria of waw to be madda. So this is waw madda ummiyuna. Lam alifatala, ya ain fataya, la ya la, lam fatala, mim wa tamamu, nun fatana. La ya'lamuna wa minhum ummiyuna la ya'lamuna. Now, this noon is connected with the next lam. If you see, noon lam fatah nal. Okay, nal kitaba illa amaniya wa inhum illa yadhunnun. Kaf kasra kita vertical fatah ta kita ba fatah ba kitaba. Hamza lam kasra il lam alif fatah la illa amaniya. Hamza fatah a mim alif fatah ma ama. Noon ya kasra ni amani ya fatah ya amaniya. So let's see what's the rule here. Ta is having vertical fatha, that's why we have read it by stretching kitaba kitaba illa amaniya. Here we have stretched this alif up to 2.5 counts. Why we have done so? Because if you see, this alif is madda. Okay, before this alif you have fatha on the previous letter. So this makes this alif madda. Madda letters are such letters which we read them by stretching up to one alif. So here alif is madda, and after alif madda you see the hamza in the next word. So here will be the rule of madde munfasil, and the amount of stretching of this alif, you can see there is a mad on top. Okay, this mad is madde munfasil, and the amount of stretching is 2.5 alif. Illa amaniya, illa amaniya. Hamza fata'a, mim alif fatah ma ama. Noon ya kasra ni ya fatah ya amaniya amaniya. Waw fatah wa, hamza nun kasra in wa in, ha mim dhamma hum wa in hum. Hamza lam kasra il, lam alif fatah la illa, ya fatah ya, dha nun dhamma dhun, nun wa dhamma nu, yadhunnu, and then nun sakin, yadhunnun. Wa in hum illa, again alif is madda, illa yadhunnun. When it comes to pronouncing this the, you have to be extra careful, because if you say yazunnun, it will be wrong, because this the will be replaced with the other za, and if we do this, then it will be lahne jali, which change the meaning of Quranic words. So you have to be careful. And how to pronounce this the? In order to pronounce this the, you have to touch your tip of the tongue with the inner edges of your top two front teeth. Okay, tip of your tongue will be touching the inner edges of your top two front teeth. Okay, so you have to stop the airflow. You have to say yadhunnun without making here a buzzing sound like yazunnun. No, it's yadhunnun, yadhunnun, and this is heavy as well. So your tongue will be little bit like this much out, and it will be touching the inner edges of your top two front teeth when you're pronouncing this the sound. Yadhunnun, yadhunnun. Then noon is having nasalization because there is a shadda on top of it. It's easy to remember this way. Otherwise, if you want, I can open the rules here. This is idgham with a gunna, because there is noon sakin and after that there is another noon. So easy is to remember. Whenever you see the shadda on noon or mim, do the nasalization gunna. Yadhunnun. And this waw is madda again here. So we will apply the madde arid lissakun. So all endings were almost the madde arid lissakun. So I have kept the amount same, which is 3 alif. Illa yadhunnun. Fawailul lilladhina yaktubuna al-kitaba بأيديهم ثم يقولون هذا من عند الله ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فويل لهم مما كتبت أيديهم وَوَيْلٌ لَهُم مِّمَّا يَكْسِبُونَ. So let's see what are the rules in this ayah. Fa fata fa, waw ya fata way, for way. So here ya is lean. Okay, we have two letters lean, waw and ya. Ya is lean because it's sakin, then there is a fatha before it. If there is a kasra before it, it will be madda. But there is a fatha before it. Here ya is lean, and we read lean letters gently without stretching, without suddenly pausing them. Lam, lam dama, lam to dama, lul. Fawailul, lam kasra lil. Fawailul lil, lam fatha la. Fawailul lilla, dhal ya kasra dhi, nun fatha na. Fawailul lilladhina. Fawailul lilladhina. So we have four alif here. Two here and two here. Whenever you see shadda sign, it means that your letter is double. Okay, let me give you example. For example, if you write in English the spelling of apple, A-double-P-L-E. So in order to write the letter double, you just write it double. Okay, but in Arabic you write the letter once and you put this sign on the top. This means that letter is twice. Letter is two times here. فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ. After to dhamma, you have letter lam, which is from Yarmalun letters. So basically, this is idgham, merging but without gunna. Okay, if this case occurs with, for example, here you have ya or meme or noon or waw, so you will merge as well as you will do gunna. But here is lam, so you will just merge, there will be no gunna. فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ ذِينَ Dal ya kasra dhi. So before ya sakin, you have kasra. This ya is madda here. Madda letters are the letters we read by stretching them up to one alif. فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ يَكْتُبُونَ الْكِتَابَ Ya kafata yak ta damatu yaktu ba waw damabu yaktubu noon lam fata nal yaktubu nal kaf kasra ki ta vertical fata ta kita ba fata ba yaktubuna al-kitaba yaktubuna al-kitaba yaktubu bu waw is madda kitaba by ta is having vertical fatha ba kasra bi hamza ya fatha ai bi ai dal ya kasra di bi ai di ha mim kasra him bi ai di him tha mim dama thum mim fatha ma thumma ya fatha ya qaf wa dama qu yaqu lam wa damalu nun fatana yakuluna ha vertical fataha dal alif fatha hadha mim nun kasra min ain nun dal lam kasra dil dil lam vertical fatha la ha kasra li dillahi. So let's see the rule here. After noon sakin you have letter dal, which is from the ikhfa letters, so you will do ikhfa here. Ikhfa means hiding the noon sakin or tanween sound. So you have to say يَقُولُونَ هَذَا مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. And before the letter lam in the word Allah, you see there is a kasra. You will make this lam letter, lam in the word Allah light. عِنْدِ If there is a fatha, it will be عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. If there is dama, عِنْدُ اللَّهِ. So if there is a fatha or dhamma, this lam is heavy. If there is a kasra, this lam in the word Allah is light. Okay, this rule is specifically for the word Allah. Never apply it to any other lam. If you see like this, anywhere else lam is light, but in the word Allah we read it sometimes light, sometimes heavy. It depends what's before it. So if before it is a kasra, it's light. If there is a fatha or dhamma, it's heavy. Dillahi liyashtaru lam kasra li ya shin fata yash liyash ta fata ta ra wa dhamma ru liyashtaru ru waw is madda. So if you see waw sakin and before you see dhamma, you have to read it by stretching up to one alif. Okay, that's why we say waw is madda. Mad means to stretch. Liyashtaru bihi ba kasra bi ha vertical kasra hi bihi. Same like madda letters, we read these vertical harkat, vertical fatha, vertical kasra or inverted dhamma by stretching up to one alif. لِيَشْتَرُوا بِهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا ثا فتha tha mim thama noon to fatha na Now you have to hide here the noon sound, the noon to fatha nun sound. Instead of saying thamanan qalilan, you have to say thamana qalila. Tha fatha tha, mim fatha ma, thama. Noon to fatha na, thamana, qaf fatha qa, lam ya kasra li, lam alif fatha la. Qalila. Now we have to do waqf here, meaning we have to pause here. So whenever we do so, if there are two fathas, we reduce them to one. This rule is just for the two fathas. It will not be applicable for two kasras or two damas. Okay. Qaf fatha qa, lam ya kasra li, lam alif fatha la, qalila. In this case, when you have lam with the two fatha, qalilan, this alif is extra. But the moment you will reduce it to one, this alif will become madda, because then there will be one fatha before lam. So you will read it by stretching. قليلا ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فويل لهم مما كتبت أيديهم فا واو يا فتا وي فوي لام to the لل فويل لام فتا لا فويل لا ha mim dama. Now which mim we are reading? This one, having shadda. This one we will drop. Ha mim dama hum, mim kasra mim. Lahum mim alifata ma. Lahum mimma. So whenever you see the shadda on top of mim, you will do the nasalization here. Okay. So you have to say lahum mimma. Lahum mimma katabat. Kafataka, tafatata, kataba, tafatabat, katabat. Fawailul lahum mimma katabat. This merging here of the word lulla is because of idgham. Because after tanween you see that letter lam is there. And letter lam is from the Yarmalun letters. So if you see here, you will do merging idgham without gunna. If there are other letters, you will do with gunna. So here just merging is there, no nasalization is there. Fawailul lahum mimma. So here ha mim damahum, mim kasra mim alif tama. Here is gunna, here is gunna. Fawailul lahum mimma katabat aydihim. Hamza fata, hamza ya fata ay, dal ya kasra di, aydi. Here ya is lean because there is a fatha before it. So you have to read it quick without suddenly pausing them, without stretching. So you have to say I. But here before ya sakin you have kasra, ya is madda. We read madda letter by stretching. Aydihim, aydihim. And you have to look for the specific patterns. If there is a dama before yana, then it's not lean, it's not madda. Similarly, if there is any other sign, so it's not madda. So you have to see specifically. If there is a fatha, this is lean. If there is kasra before ya sakina, it's madda. Aydihim, aydihim. Wawailul lahum mimma yaksibun. Wa fatawa, wa ya fatawi. Wawai, lam to the malul. Wawailul, lam fatala, wawailulla. Same idgham without gunna, idgham without gunna. Ha mim dama hum, mim kasra mim alifata ma. Hum mim. Same rule which we have applied here, it will be applied here also. Ya kafata yak, sin kasra si, yaksi, ba wa dama bu, nun sakin, yaksibun. So here what we said? We said if you are pausing, making the last letter silent by yourself. Here it's written yaksibuna, but we have to pause. We will drop the harka, we will make nun silent. Okay. If we do so and second last letter is your madda letter, then you have a choice to stretch it up to 1 or 2.5 or 3 alif. And the mustahab or the best practice is to stretch it up to 3 alif. Yaksibun, like this. Okay. فَوَيْلٌ لِلَّذِينَ يكتبون الكتاب بأيديهم ثم يقولون هذا من عند الله ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فويل لهم مما كتبت أيديهم وويل لهم مما يكسبون. Next ayah is وقالوا لن تمسنا النار. وقالوا, قاف is heavy. لن تمسنا النار. تمسنا النار. So here we have done nasalization, meaning gunna. Ra is heavy. Kaf is heavy because it's from the musta'aliya letters. وقالوا لن تمسنا النار. And here noon is having ikhfa. إلا أياما معدودة. أياما معدودة. After two fathas you have letter mim. So here will be idgham with gunna. Here was idgham without gunna. Idgham without gunna. Here is idgham with gunna. Okay, because after tanween you have mim. Mim is from the Yarmalun letters. أياما معدودة. أياما معدودة. ده. Now we have made it ha because we have to pause here, and then we have dropped the harkat as well as the dots from this ta marbuta, and we have made it ha. قل أتخذتم. أتخذتم. Kha is from the habi letters and it's halki as well. عند الله. عند الله. After noon sakin you have letter dal, which is from the ikhfa letters. So if you see ikhfa letters after noon sakin or tanween, you will hide the sound. Okay, so it's عند الله ahdan. Now before the letter lam in the word Allah you have fatha, you will make it heavy. Ahdan. Ain is from the middle of the throat. The after two fathas you have fa. Fa is from the ikhfa letters, you will hide. Falai. Falai. Here is idgham with ghunna. After noon sakin you have letter ya, which is from the Yamalu letters. So you have to say falai yukhlifallahu ahdahu am taquluna ala Allahi ma la ta'lamun. So this was the ayah number 80. Now we are doing the one final recitation, and inshallah we will end our today's live session after this. This is ayah 71. قال إنه يقول إنها بقرة لا ذلول تثير الأرض ولا تسقي الحرث مسلمة لا شية فيها. مسلمة لا شية فيها. قالوا الآن جئت بالحق فذبحوها وما كادوا يفعلون. وإذ قتلتم نفسا فادارأتم فيها والله مخرج ما كنتم تكتمون. فقلنا اضربوه ببعدها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون. ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة. وإن من الحجارة لما يتفجر منه الأنهار وإن منها لما يشقق فيخرج منه الماء وإن منها لما يهبط من خشية الله وما الله بغافل أما تعملون. أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله ثم يحرفونه من بعد ما أكلوه وهم يعلمون. وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا قالوا آمنا وإذا خلا بعضهم إلى بعض قالوا أتحدثونهم بما فتح الله عليكم ليحاجوكم به عند ربكم أفلا تعقلون أولا يعلمون أن الله يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون ومنهم أميون لا يعلمون الكتاب إلا أماني وإنهم إلا يظنون فويل للذين يكتبون الكتاب بأيديهم ثم يقولون هذا من عند الله ليشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فويل لهم مما كتبت أيديهم وويل لهم مما يكسبون وقالوا لن تمسنا النار إلا أياما معدودة قل اتخذتم عند الله أهدا فلن يخلف الله عهده أم تقولون على الله ما لا تعلمون. Sadaqallahul Azim. So here we have managed to complete our today's target, which was ayah number 71 to 80. Now inshallah we will end our session, and before ending our session I would like you to read Durud Ibrahimi with me. So let's do the salawat on Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and with this we will end our today's. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. So here inshallah we are ending our session, and if you have any questions you can comment, and then inshallah I will get back to you. I will be here inshallah tomorrow again with another live session, and today we have completed from ayah 71 of to 80 of Surah Al Baqarah. Tomorrow we will do ayah 81 till ayah 90 of Surah Al Baqarah inshallah. So stay tuned, keep learning and keep improving your tajweed. Inshallah I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.